I'm going with the field. I believe that an NCAA tournament has shown through the years that not only guard play, but three-point shooting and the ability to be able to upset people because of the three-point line, man, that's what happens in March Madness. So I don't believe that Duke, they shoot the ball well enough from the perimeter. They rely on getting the ball inside, playing above the rim, offensive rebounds. So in the tournament, you have one bad day. With that bad shooting, it won't lead to them being victorious. So I think that this is a field, too, that is bunched together. I believe there's 6 teams, probably 6 to 8 teams that can win it all. And that doesn't even include who might be Cinderella, either 1 or 2. So I believe that there are a few blue bloods, that being Virginia, Duke, and North Carolina, all those getting 1 seeds from the ACC. That's a phenomenal thing. But do they have enough talent to be able to get it all the way to the finish line? And that's what out of that group, Nick, I like North Carolina. I believe they have more balance. I like their guard play. I like their overall shooting. They have interior post play. And I believe overall how they play with that type of pace will play well for them. Duke is a very, very talented team. They're very, very talented. But when it comes down to the tournament, a lot of times it's guards and shooting the three ball.
Well, listen, if it does come down to shooting the 3 ball, then Duke won't win it all. Duke is literally, of the 68 teams that made the tournament, the worst 3-point shooting team in the bracket as far as
I saved that one for you. I knew you would.
But despite that, and I never take one team versus the field. I'll take Duke versus the field. They got the best player. They got the best coach, they got the best draw, and they might, as an added bonus, also have the second best player in the tournament in R.J. Barrett. The draw helps them enormously. You mentioned the Blue Bloods or the 6 to 8 other real contenders. Michigan State is a really good 2 seed and a really good team. But the other teams that I would be looking out for, Kentucky, Carolina, Virginia, and a veteran-laden Tennessee team that briefly was the #1 team in the nation, they are all on the opposite side of the bracket. Duke this year has lost twice with Zion Williamson playing the full game. Once to Gonzaga, and Gonzaga, a fellow 1 seed, by the way, where they were down huge and stormed all the way back to tie it with a minute left and then lost by 2. And once to Syracuse in overtime, and the Syracuse game is noteworthy not because I went there, but because they play that zone, and if you can't shoot the 3, and sometimes a zone team can get you. Not a lot of zone teams in Duke's region and Duke's side of the bracket. I just think they've been the best team all year. I know they have the best player. I know they have the coach that is the most experienced, which can maybe offset the fact that Jones, Reddish, Barrett, and Zion are all freshmen. I'll take Duke. I think this is the year of Zion Williamson, the year of Duke University, and so I'll go with them.
Do you have any issue with what Nick said, the fact that they are, for all the talent they have, they are not very experienced, except for Mike Krzyzewski?
Well, it doesn't really matter that much in college basketball because there's only a few teams that have some overall experience.
Tennessee, Virginia, a couple.
People don't put Duke in the category of one and done, but over the last 5 years, they're in the one and done category. They have a bunch of one-and-done players, so Duke is not going to have a lot of experience. Over the last couple of years, they didn't have a lot of experience. So it's not new to the people who really follow Duke basketball, but do you want to be young and have the #1 recruit, the #2 recruit, and the #3 recruit? And that's what they have on this show. So they do have a lot of raw talent that I believe some of that being undeveloped, and I believe that they'll be better in pro basketball than in college basketball because their inability to shoot it consistently from the 3-point line or intermediate. Like, they don't have an intermediate game either. So it's just a part of where they are right now as a program. They don't want to be in that category, but Duke is one and done, and they're loving it.
I do think the winner of the East region is going to win this thing. Duke's in it, but if Duke doesn't get out of there, the only team in that region that I think has any shot at beating them is your friend's team, Tom Izzo's Michigan State team. They've got Cassius Winston.
He's all of our friends.
Okay, sure, but Chris's actual friend. They have Nick Ward back to him some low post presence. I know Izzo was a little salty, maybe understandably, that they have the season that they did, and they end up being the lowest-ranked 2 seed when a lot of people thought they could maybe sneak up to the 1 line that was taken by either North Carolina
and they didn't get credit for the history that they have of being someone in March Madness, teams that even when they were underrated, man, they get on a run. So typically the committee gives the coach and that university benefit of the doubt. They got a bad draw.
Well, and listen, this is going to consistently be on the board for a Big Ten team when Michigan State, Michigan is going down to the wire while they are putting this together. There's no way the committee could have two separate brackets, one with Michigan State winning the Big Ten tournament, one with Michigan winning it. So they basically have to call that game a coin flip and then make the bracket. You mentioned history. The other good storyline or big storyline of this tournament is Virginia. Virginia is a #1 seed again. Virginia, of course, last year became the first 1 seed to ever lose to a 16. And you could throw that out if it wasn't the fact that the year before, Virginia in the second round lost by 26 points to Florida State. And the year before that, they blew a 14-point lead to Syracuse in the final minutes of the Elite Eight. And the year before that, they lost in the second round to Michigan State. And the year before that, they lost in the Sweet 16 to Michigan State. They have been the #1 seed 3 times and only even made it to 1 regional final, much less a Final Four. So for Tony Bennett and Virginia, especially after what happened last year, this is an enormous tournament for them where they have to make it at least to the Elite Eight, if not to their first Final Four with him as the head coach.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.